The new NBA and MLB season is in full swing, and BetOnline has you covered with the best odds and biggest promotions and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Over 200 million Americans start their day with a bowl of cereal. If you're one of them, you have two people to thank, brothers Will and Jon Kellogg, two men whose accidental invention of flaked corn led to a company catalog containing over 40 brands, including such iconic snacks as Cheez-Its, Pop-Tarts, and Pringles. What began as a humble bowl of convenient crunch has become an industry juggernaut, with last year's sales more than $15 billion. Will and Jon created a cereal empire, but what they lost was priceless. This week, On Brand is on Kellogg's.
You're all jazzed up, really having a cow. You want your favorite show, and it's on right now. It's on brand.
Welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa. I'm Jon.
I'm Marisa.
Marisa.
Yes.
I think that TikTok is trying to make me gayer. So I know you're not on there, but and I always say, this is one of those words I always say wrong.
Arugula?
No, I get that one right. Except, you know what drives me crazy about arugula is that, did I say it right?
You said it right that time.
Is it all anyone ever says about it is a pepper, like it's peppery.
It's quite peppery.
Every cooking show you see, when they bring it up, they're like, it adds a nice little peppery flavor to it. We know, like, give us another description. But no, TikTok. So everyone's TikTok is different. It's very tailored to you. The more you like, the more it understands you, the more of those things that you get.
Absolutely terrifying.
It's great. It actually is great, because I was actually looking at my friend Scott's, and he's like a normal, just all-American dude. And he's straight, and all of his were like
bologna sandwiches,
sneakers, cars, and pretty ladies. Mine is the exact, mine does have sandwiches, but mine is...
That's the overlap between you and an all-American guy is a bologna sandwich?
Yeah, that's why Scott and I are friends, because we both love sandwiches. But mine clearly has known I was gay from the get-go. I get a lot of gay material. What I'm noticing lately is everyone probably knows the gay lifestyle has a lot of subcultures. When I was coming up, you had bears, you had otters, you had this, you had that, feminine guys, top, bottoms, versatile, there's so many different levels of gay. So my TikTok knows that I'm gay, but now I'm getting things that I've never really identified with. I'm getting a lot of Judy Garland in my feed. The thing is, and I've always been like, I've never been like the Barbara Streisand loving, Judy Garland loving type of person. But I gotta say, some of these clips I'm getting, like I saw a clip of Judy Garland this week and I was like, okay. It was like riveting how great it was. She was just so like raw and she sounded so good.
Oh boy.
And I was like, okay. So TikTok is changing my gay, I guess, or broadening my gay.
Your exposure to gay culture over your years.
Yeah.
It was TikTok
It took
that got
TikTok.
you to appreciate Judy Garland.
Yes, for me to broaden my gay. I'm trying to coin that phrase now. It just can't broaden my gay.
Broaden my gay?
Yeah.
Broaden my gay? Is that a pun?
We'll play around with it. It'll be in the merch store once we have that. So anyway, I will keep you updated on what happens with this. I don't know if I'm going to start getting more.
Liza, Cher.
I did have Liza too, now that I think about it. Yeah.
You can't have Judy without Liza.
Yeah. I don't know if maybe it just clumps it all into one and it's trying to make everyone the same, or if it's like, let's give him a little taste. We think this is what he needs, and they're right.
They were right. Next thing we know, you're going to be dancing on a bar in Palm Springs.
Well...
Some chaps.
I doubt that, but
Do you have chaps?
I don't.
Well, you will next week when TikTok feeds you an ad for chaps.
I not only don't have chaps, now that we're filming these, I'm very self-conscious of how I'm always looking. So yeah, I know.
Maybe chaps would help.
Chaps, I definitely think I should do one episode in chaps just to see if people enjoy
Nobody
that.
would be able to tell because they'd be below the waist, but they might be able to tell a little bit of confidence boost.
Right. They could sit there and be like, there's something different about him.
If they hear like an unsticking sound, they know what that is.
A leather, like a squeak.
A leather squeak.
A leather squeak.
On the chair. They know what that is.
So I'm very excited about this episode.
This is huge.
Coming into this episode completely blind. I don't have my laptop in front of me.
I can't believe it.
I didn't work on the intro. I didn't research the company. You were the third person who's told me how exciting or cool this brand's history is, so I am really on board to hear about it.
I've dove into this brand more than I have any other one because the more you uncover, the more there was. And if people know Kellogg's, if you know the history, you know what I'm talking about. If not, you're in for a treat. This is a doozy.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
Which surprises me because it's such a like benign end product of where we are now.
Honestly, thinking about it, I might cry this episode. The story is so beautiful. This story is so beautiful. It's tragic. It's positively Shakespearean. Okay. Honestly, I will say the story of Kellogg's is better than any piece of Shakespeare I've ever read. Keep in mind, I don't care about Shakespeare.
May I ask, what pieces of Shakespeare have you read?
Claire Danes and Leonardo DiCaprio, Fish Tank.
So you saw Romeo and Juliet the movie,
yes.
And this is better than... I find it hard to believe this is better than that.
Nothing is better than Leo in 1990.
Oh my God, Leonardo DiCaprio, that fish tank scene, like literally, I wanted to buy a pair of angel wings just because of that. Like I dreamed of having angel wings in a giant fish tank.
I mean, just saying the words Leonardo DiCaprio, Romeo and Juliet, I'm sure like drivers, people are having to pull over right now. If you're listening to this while you're driving, you pull over to a shoulder.
Pull over, tap your forehead, tap the sweat away. We all know. We all experienced it.
Whew, just recover before you get safely on the road, because that's a big one. So with Kellogg's, if I say Kellogg's, does anything come to mind? Does it mean anything to you?
Okay. As far as brand identity, I can clearly picture their logo. They have a very distinctive font. I love it. I am a big cereal person. It's almost dangerous. I go through spells with cereal, so I'm in one right now.
Oh, fun.
I just bought several boxes of cereal.
Several?
They weren't Kellogg's because I think General Mills was having a sale. And I really like Cheerios. I don't know if I'm answering your question. I think of cereal.
You're a cereal guy.
I'm a cereal guy. I love cereal. And I will throw in, I think I eat cereal differently than most people.
Okay.
I would be curious for people to comment on this. When I eat a bowl of cereal, I pour a very cold bowl of usually 2% milk, but I pour the milk first. And I continuously add cereal onto that. A thin layer of cereal, eat it while it's still crunchy. I don't like the milk to change into any sort of thing. I eat that layer, I retop it, I eat that layer, and then I like to be able to drink the milk when it's still cold.
I cannot believe I didn't know that you had this process.
Yeah. Well, you've seen me eat pizza. I don't eat things normally.
Yeah, Jon eats pizza. He's like a little New York City rat who found himself a slice.
Okay, all right. I eat it pretty normally. I take off the cheese and toppings, roll it into a little cigar, and I eat that. And then I scrape off all the slimy stuff on top of the crust, and I eat that.
That part of the crust that kind of like moistens with the cheese.
It's like bubbly and saucy and wet.
There's a lot of foods you roll up like a cigar and then eat.
I know. I think it has something to do with a past life.
Past life, definitely.
All right, so Kellogg's.
So Kellogg's, now it's the number one cereal provider. They have such an enormous slate of brands.
So they are number one. I picture the cereal aisle being like a duke out between three main companies: Kellogg's, Post, and General Mills.
Kellogg's, Post, and General Mills. Kellogg's is the king.
Okay.
And in the time when Kellogg's was invented, there were a lot of cereals were kind of being invented by then. So Kellogg's didn't invent the cereal, but they like Snap, Crackle, Pop was like early 1900s, just to tell you how far back the marketing genius of Kellogg's goes.
Okay. I didn't realize they were that old.
Rice Krispies are that old, yeah. Let's start in the beginning.
Okay.
And
take me back there.
I'm going to take you back.
I'm just going to sit back and learn. But I won't sit back too far because it doesn't look good on camera. So I'm going to sit up.
Sit up?
Suck in.
And get your notepad.
Tilt my head and listen.
You look really handsome.
Thank you.
So we have these two brothers, Jon Harvey Kellogg and Will Keith Kellogg. These are the two major players in this story. We'll call them Jon and Will. We'll call them Big Jon and Little Will because they're 8 years apart, and Jon's the older one.
Okay.
It might help just clarify.
Yeah.
So Jon and Will, they're living in Battle Creek, Michigan. That is still, to this day, the headquarters of Kellogg's. And their kids, this is 1856, their parents have the most 1856 business of all time. a broom factory.
Whoa. Okay. I didn't see that coming. And just a little side note, I know we bring him into this a lot. How can we not at this moment? Our producer, Alistair, is obsessed with brooms and cleaning.
Brooms. Can you imagine going to a broom factory? I mean, that would be like your heaven.
I mean, it's the same feeling that people hearing about Leo.
I was like, for all of you people that love brooms, pull over your car, pull over your broom. I was like, if he was given a time machine, like if you could go back anywhere.
1856, broom factory.
Broom factory, Kellogg's broom factory.
So Jon and Will are working in the broom factory. They're not going to school. This is like maybe also very 1856. It was like they didn't go to school. They only went to church and the broom factory.
How old are they?
Not very formally educated. They're like teens.
Okay.
So they're still young. So Jon, the big bro, Big Jon, he didn't have a formal education, but he loved to read. He was a kid who was just like clearly very bright, loved to learn, self-taught. He kind of rose in the ranks of his church, which was the Seventh-day Adventist. And they could see that he was like a smart cookie. He was like very passionate. Everyone thought he was cool. So even though he didn't go to school, he ended up becoming a surgeon.
What?
Isn't that wild?
Wait,
You
from
could, like-
out of the broom closet into the operating room?
You could like take a class and like become a surgeon.
I feel like we jumped some stuff, but okay.
I mean, there's what
there
else
was
is
there
there
to say? He
What
went
is there
through
to
law.
say?
He went law school. He went to law school and then became a
He
surgeon.
went to medical school. He became very prominent, a prominent figure in his church.
Okay.
He became a surgeon, and he ended up running the Seventh-day Adventist. Had this. It was like this business doesn't exist now. It was like a health resort, wellness, learning space that he called the sanitarium. So now he's a man. Now he's like in his early 20s, and he is running this sanitarium. So this is the Battle Creek Medical Surgical Sanitarium. So it's a wellness spa, like I said, health retreat, 30 acres of like gymnasium, spas, pools, hospitals. It was world renowned and became, quote, the in place for the rich and famous to seek their lost health, to listen to health lectures, and to learn and practice the principles of a healthy lifestyle.
This feels very forward thinking for its time.
Oh, extremely. This was a time like in this era, people did not think about like preventing illness. They didn't think about like internal gut flora like he thought about. It was just like you get a wound, you're sick, you go to the doctor. He was
throw
really
a leech on it.
You throw a leech on it.
And then you're better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and this was like this wasn't seen as weird or crazy. These were some famous customers. Henry Ford. You're a big fan.
Big fan of Henry Ford. I've been to the Henry Ford Museum. I highly recommend it to anybody. It is the craziest place on the planet.
God, I wish I could have gone. Wait, what city is it in?
It's outside of Detroit.
It's outside of Detroit. I had like a day or two I was in Detroit, and I told Jon, I'm going to pop by the Henry Ford Museum. I popped by 5 minutes before they were closing.
This is somewhere where you can honestly spend, I'm not even kidding, low end 2 full days.
Absolutely.
I would give myself 3 days to see it all. And I've been telling her to go forever. And you were doing
I guessed on the
Doughboys.
Doughboys tour. So we went to Milwaukee and Detroit, and it was like 5 minutes literally before the museum closed. So people are pouring out. The gates are shutting. I even got in before, like they told me I
Ridiculous.
couldn't even go in. It was too late, too close to closing. I thought I could just like do a quick lap in 5 minutes. I walked in, I see a map. I'm like, this place has 5 restaurants. Just to give you an idea of how big it is, there's 5 restaurants here.
There's like a whole inside part. It's like the museum version of Forrest Gump. It's like, how does this one place have all of these things? And I learned it's because Henry Ford collected all these things before historic significance became kind of like law, I think. He has the Wright brothers like first invent like
Insane.
studio.
The Rosa
Like,
Parks bus.
the bus that Rosa Parks like wouldn't sit in the back of. Like I think the car that Kennedy was shot in. He just collected all these incredible moments of history. I highly recommend it. We'll definitely do an episode on it at some point.
Is he your hero?
I never knew that he was, and he's probably, I don't want to say he is because I don't know enough about him. He's maybe a really bad guy. But what he did was super cool.
Yeah, he's
I'm
super
glad that
cool.
it exists because I could see a lot of those things not having lasted if they stayed where they were.
If you find yourself in Detroit and you have 5 minutes, definitely swing by and get a press penny. The
You
lobby
did
was
get
exquisite.
me a press penny, which was very nice.
Yeah, I was able to access the portion of the lobby that had the press penny machine, so I technically was there.
Which honestly for me was all that mattered because for some reason I was so overwhelmed when I was there I didn't even get a press penny. That's how in awe I was of this place.
Jon collects press
I
pennies if
collect
that hasn't
press
come out yet.
All right.
Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from Major League Baseball, NHL, and UFC, and professional golf, BetOnline remains the number one source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline's casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
So these are some famous people: Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Amelia Earhart. This was like very prestigious, but also available to the middle class. This wasn't like exclusively for the rich and famous. This was kind of where rich and famous middle class would come to regain their lost health. And this was, yeah, like you said, very ahead of its time as a concept. So this guy, Big John, he's a real health nut. And so that's pretty rare for this time. He's promoting fresh air, exercise, hygiene, light therapy, electrotherapy, wild stuff for the late 1800s. He's against alcohol, caffeine, sugar, fat. He thinks all of those promote not only an unhealthy lifestyle, but that they can promote sexual perversion. So this is like a really weird part of him. He's like obsessed with sexual perversion and avoiding tenets of his church, any sexual desire, masturbation, which he considers to be like the lowest thing any human
Lowest
can do.
form of depravity. So we've got a guy that doesn't like sugar and doesn't like to jerk off.
Yeah, those are his evils in the world, are sugar and masturbation.
Sounds fun.
One thing he did was a water enema. He invented this machine that would put gallons of water in your bowels and then wash them out and then put in a pint of yogurt.
I didn't see that coming.
So you would put in a pint of yogurt and then you would eat a pint of yogurt. So you would be meeting in the middle with yogurt.
Good God.
Doesn't that sound fun? He
No.
like patented a machine that does that.
It doesn't sound fun at all. I personally don't like yogurt.
That's your issue with it, is not liking yogurt? You don't taste it when it's in your ass.
Maybe if it was something, maybe whipped cream.
Maybe sour cream, you like that.
Yeah, but that doesn't. I'm not going to start with something that's already got sour in the name.
I like that you're there and you're like, Doc, I got one problem. Not a big yogurt guy. Do you have whipped cream?
It has to be something creamy and white. Mayonnaise.
Oh, God. A mayonnaise enema? You would be kicked out of the sanitarium.
Oh, okay. So I'm shocked already at the seeds that we are planting and how this is going to turn into Kellogg's.
It's absolutely bizarre. So this is all born out of his obsession with health. So in his mind, yes, ideas promoted by the church, bland foods, reducing sexual desires. He's obsessed with digestion. He's obsessed with constipation. He poops 5 times a day, famously.
Wow, must be if we're talking about it 100 years later.
Can you believe it? This is his legacy, pooping 5 times a day.
And now we've talked about poop in 2 shows. I'm not a fan of that.
I can't deny it's part of his history.
It's canon.
This is lore. It's canon.
It's Kellogg's canon.
So he was so against masturbation that he would do like circumcisions to prevent like penis pleasure. He would put cages on penises.
What?
This is a
He
weird
was
guy.
forcing his beliefs on masturbation on other people?
Yeah, to break young boys of the habit, like people who visited the sanitarium. And as a doctor, these were like procedures he administered, putting a cage over your Johnson.
Wait. I need to know more information about this. Like, were parents bringing their kids in and being like, hey, Mr. Kellogg's, my kid's jerking off too much? And
Well,
he's
he
like,
was still a practicing surgeon, so I don't know exactly when he was getting access to the kids, but that was part of his procedures he did.
Okay.
Yeah, he would do circumcisions to prevent kids from jerking off. And he would put cages on their penises and bandaging their hands.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Was really against it.
It's like to the point of like obsession.
Yeah.
Which will bring into a theory I was going to mention. I'll mention it now. He was married for 40 years and he never shared a bed with his wife. He never consummated his marriage. They slept in separate rooms.
I don't want to be one of those people. I have a lot going on through my head right now, and I don't know what to get out first. I'm going to get this one out first. Ever since you've said the thing about circumcision, I was trying to connect that with cereal, and I was picturing circumcision-O's. And it's just like a crunchy, based on like
God.
I know.
A bowl
That's
of
what's been in my
foreskin?
head for about 3 minutes.
Okay.
Also, I don't want to assume everybody's gay, but this does feel like someone that may have homosexual issues that they're scared to
Right?
get out.
I mean, like the obsession with like preventing sexual desire. Married for 40 years. They didn't even share a room, didn't share a bed. They had fostered over 40 kids. But it's not like against their religion to have sex. It's like within the confines of marriage, but he never did. So, I mean, there wasn't a lot of public speculation online about
Did he invent Fruit Loops?
John Kellogg. Okay, we have a breadcrumb to follow. Put on your detective cap.
Is that Kellogg's?
Let's see.
Wait, Rice Krispies.
It is!
Okay. Rice Krispies.
It is.
Three little boys
Okay, so
sitting
if
in a bowl.
So if you're imagining it through this closeted gay lens, Fruit Loops. Pop-Tarts.
Snap, crackle.
All right. Crackling oat. No, not that one. But you can imagine.
Yeah, there's something to this. We're going to do a deeper dive on that.
I didn't want to speculate too hard because I was imagining you would also bring it up. That,
Yeah.
he's probably secretly gay. I don't know. So a lot of the food that they would serve to the guests, I don't want to call them patients, so like clients at this like wellness place, they were all intended to be super bland to diminish sexual desire, very high in fiber, low in fat, low in sugar. So of course, now we're starting to see the invention cap starting to spin.
I'm
right?
I'm trying to imagine when it all derailed, because that is not what Kellogg's is anymore.
Not anymore. They got a problem with that.
Yeah.
Big John, as I mentioned, he's 8 years older than Will. They work together at the sanitarium. Big John is very mean to Will. Okay, it's like bad older brother kind of like bullying. As I mentioned, John had 5 bowel movements a day. He made Will sit in the bathroom with him and like take notes while he was like on the toilet.
All 5 times?
All 5 times.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so he did like a lot of rude kind of demeaning stuff to Will. So all the food at the sanitarium had to be very bland, boring, healthy. There's a lot of debate about how it began, but this is how the story goes, like widely agreed upon. John Kellogg left a batch of their wheat-berry dough for their like bland food. He left it out overnight, so it kind of started to ferment. Rather than throwing it out the following day, he sent it through the rollers and was surprised that it was able to transform into delicate flakes, which could then be baked. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Will, entrepreneurial, business-minded, brilliant in his own way, different from John, brilliant, business-minded marketing genius, persuaded his brother to serve the food in flake form. And then soon, people who were leaving the sanitarium, they were like, we want those flakes. Can you like mail order them to us? And Will was like, this is a huge business opportunity. John was like, I'm not in the market of like becoming like a cereal salesman.
Frankie Flake over here.
I'm not
That's
Frankie
not what I'm
Flake.
on this earth for.
I'm Dr. Dingle Dick.
I'm pooping 5 times a day. I barely have time to think. You, little brother, run with the flake business. Were they just eating them dry, I assume? Milk hasn't entered the picture.
Milk was invented. They were eating with milk.
Oh, I know milk was invented.
They were eating it as cereal, as we know it today.
Oh, they were. From the get-go. He was like...
They were. But you notice I said wheat.
I do feel like it's kind of crazy to be like, oh, I left this stuff out overnight. Perhaps if I roll it out, bake it, turn it into a flake, put it in a bowl, put milk on it, it might be something.
You know what? They had like, they called it like a kitchen laboratory where they were always trying to invent like interesting health food. They were always experimenting. He invented like an early form of granola that he tried to, I guess.
This feels similar to granola.
Yeah, it was similar to granola. So he was always kind of experimenting with like how healthy can a food be?
Did you know in Pasadena, their Panda Express there is a Panda Express trial restaurant where they will throw out new
How fun.
foods that you can only get there.
What kind of stuff?
I think they did an orange chicken sandwich. Like they took their famous product on like a...
Sandwich?
Oh, no. I didn't want this to come up. I say sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
sandwich.
and only you. It's not even like an Ohio thing. Is that how they say it in Ohio?
Just say a lot of words wrong. But anyway, yeah, if you like Panda Express and you're in the area, Pasadena is your place to go on Lake Avenue.
That's super fun. If you go there, you might run into John.
You might find me there trying a sandwich. All right, so they've invented cereal.
They've invented
They don't know
cereal.
what to do with it.
Will has the idea that they should try the same process with corn. He thinks corn tastes a little better. It's a little sweeter. So they do the fermenting, rolling out with corn instead of wheat. A little more flavorful, a little sweeter, a little more yummy.
Okay.
Dr. John, Big John, forbade his brother Will from distributing cereal beyond the customers of the sanitarium.
He wanted it to remain in there because he wanted it to be exclusive, or he just didn't have the foresight of what it could be?
It's hard to tell. They had such a rivalry. Part of him could have been bitter that it was Will's idea. His focus was on promoting a health food, so he could have had an issue with that. It was like a cornflake. He thought it wasn't a superior health product. It's hard to say. But he forbade his brother, and they had a falling out.
No.
Will launched the Battle Creek, not a great name. You'll see why they changed it. The Battle Creek Toasted Cornflake Company.
Rolls off the tongue.
On February 19th, 1906.
Okay, so this is Will. So we now have the younger brother of the Kellogg's brothers going off on his own
That's right.
with cornflakes.
And here's a fun fact.
Okay.
You know that Post?
Cereal?
CW Post? He was a patient at the sanitarium and couldn't pay for his room and board. So he worked it off by working in the kitchen, and he stole some of their recipes, and he invented grape nuts.
I love grape nuts. I get cravings for grape nuts. I put grape nuts on ice cream. I think grape nuts are a delicious, weirdest cereal. I liked them even when I was a kid, but it's a small box because they're so dense.
They're so dense. Little pebbles.
They're like little rocks, but I flippin' love them.
Yeah, they have a really satisfying crunch. They'll really get... If you have any holes in your teeth, good luck.
Yeah, good luck. It is not an easy food to eat, and it makes my jaw tired. It really does. When I'm done with my bowls of grape nuts, it's like my jaw's sore. Okay, so
hey,
I'm
do what you love.
this.
You never work a day in your life.
Exactly.
So grape nuts were an invention stolen by Post.
A lot of plates spinning right now. We've got younger brother over here with cornflakes. Poor thief over here with grape nuts. John's just sitting on the toilet while everyone's off doing their cereal game.
Exactly. So the company produced and marketed the hugely successful Kellogg's Toasted Cornflakes, was renamed the Kellogg Toasted Cornflake Company in 1909, taking on the current name of the Kellogg Company in 1922. So not until 1922 did they become the Kellogg Company.
They just had their 100th anniversary of that name. That's fun.
How'd you celebrate?
Probably eating a lot of cereal.
Probably. So by 1909, Will's company had produced 120,000 cases of cornflakes daily.
Wow.
So this was a time, early 1900s, as I mentioned, they didn't invent cereal. Cereal was kind of starting to come on the scene. Brands were popping up and dying. Cornflakes were like clearly a front runner. Everybody's loving cornflakes. Previously, breakfasts were really heavy, fatty, like fried in lard from the night before. It took a long, like even if you were cooking grains, it took hours to break them down to make them edible. So the idea of like pouring cereal into a bowl with milk was like revolutionary. He marketed to moms, he marketed to busy families. Their slogan was breakfast so easy, even dad can make it.
Oh, that's a good slogan.
Isn't that cute? So
now, did a lot of people, that you may not know this, did a lot of people have ice boxes at the time? Like, were they using cold milk, or is it a different experience back then? Is it room temperature milk?
Straight from the udder?
Straight from the udder.
When did refrigerators hit the scene?
I actually do know that.
You do?
Well, I will.
Isn't that crazy to think of a time where an Iceman would come with a big block of ice?
Yeah, that seems awful. I love ice.
You're obsessed with
I'm
ice.
an extra ice kind of guy.
You would not have done well in the early 1900s.
Definitely not. Or in Europe. Fun fact about me, my mom hates ice. So when I'm home and we go to McDonald's and I order her a Coke with no ice, me a Diet Coke with extra ice. Not the funnest fact, but just a little more insight.
Yeah, fun fact. It's it's true.
It's a fact.
It's a fact. It's a fun story.
It's a smiling
It's a
fact.
grape nut.
It's a grape nut. I do love grape nuts. Okay, so 1909, a lot of people are having room temperature
milk. By 1920s, people have ice cold milk that they're pouring
Right.
onto their flakes. So Will, he's expanding line of cereals. He poured millions of dollars into ad campaigns, mascots, Snap, Crackle, Pop. He put the name Kellogg's on his cereal boxes and started signing his work. Every box was branded with W.K. Kellogg in that signature font that we know and love. As you mentioned, a stunning font, stunning typography.
It's definitely up there.
So Will, he came up with the idea to put a prize in a box of cereal.
I love a prize in a cereal.
He had a promotion where the ad said, wink at your grocer and see what happens.
What?
So when you were going through the checkout line, you winked at your grocer and they would give you a tiny box of cereal to take home, like a sample.
That's
really
really
he
cute.
is truly, truly brilliant.
You know what I like about tiny things?
What?
Nothing. I hated it when we were a kid and you would go somewhere and they had like those tiny boxes of cereal. It's the same when I go to someone's house and I don't want to not be grateful because I appreciate that they went out and got me Diet Coke. But 99% of the time, when someone is not a normal Diet Coke drinker and they go to make sure that there's Diet Cokes for people like me, they get those tiny little cans. And I drink like 6 of them. Like, just get a 2-liter. Get a normal box of cereal. Like, why do you think... Oh, they like this. They'll probably want the tiniest. I'm not normal.
I loved those tiny boxes of cereal as a kid.
Of course you do. Did you know you can pour milk right in them?
Yes, you could there was a perforation where you could open it up and then slit the bag and then pour milk inside. I don't think I ever actually did that, but like the idea of doing that to a kid just seemed like the most fun thing in the world.
Well, I also got stressed out because I feel like they would do like, you got 2 corn pops, you got like 2 of this good one, and like only 1 of that. Like I was always stressed out about which one to get.
Maybe that's a thing with a lot of siblings too.
Mm-hmm.
If you see anything as a variety pack, your mind is just going to like, oh, I need to get there first.
Yeah, for sure.
Or else
Sugar
I'm gonna be
Smacks. I
left
like
with
Sugar Smacks back in the day too.
Those are good.
Yeah.
Man, I love cereal.
Yeah.
So the better that the company does, Big John, he's livid.
Is he still just running his sanitarium?
He's running the sanitarium. But the fact that Will was doing well, he hated the fact that it was his invention to like roll it out, even though he didn't want to do anything with it. He hated the fact that they were using the name Kellogg.
It's his name too.
And that their signatures were even somewhat similar. So he went nuts.
Great nuts.
Big John created the Kellogg Toasted Cornflake Company in 1908 and started selling a version of his brother's product.
It's exhausting. He's selling like the sad grocery store version.
Yeah, that was probably like healthier, less sugar.
Cornflakes are
fermented.
already feel like at least even now feel like a pretty healthy cereal.
Yeah, but his was probably like even blander.
Even blander.
To make you not want to crank off. In 1910, Will asked a judge to put an injunction against his brother for making a Kellogg's branded cereal. And thus, the legal battle began.
Here we go.
They sued each other for over a decade over who had the right to be the real Kellogg, the cereal king.
How do you decide that? I mean...
That's why it was such a long-fought legal battle, because John is saying, I'm the doctor. I'm the famous Dr. Kellogg. And he was more famous than Will at the time because he had his big sanitarium. He's like hobnobbing with celebs. And then Will is like, he was a best-selling author. He was a lecturer. He wasn't quite as famous as Dr. Kellogg. And Will said, look, this is a quote from him. I've advertised everywhere. I've spent millions of dollars. I have the largest electric sign in the world in Times Square. And the judges said, you know what? When we think of Kellogg's, if I'm representing the American people, when I think of Kellogg's, I'm thinking of that box of cereal. I'm not thinking of Dr. Kellogg and his sanitarium.
I love that.
So Will won.
Wow.
They never reconciled.
Never spoke again?
This feud, they spoke only if a third party was there, very minimal. Their last conversation was an argument. The feud like literally ruined their lives. They became obsessed with the competition, with trying to prove that they were the better one. Their families' lives were ruined. They were truly driven insane by this beef. And then eventually in 1943, Big John, Dr. John, writes a letter to Will making peace. He apologizes.
Was he sick?
He's getting closer to death. He's in his 80s. He apologizes. He gives him credit. He said, you were brilliant. I never appreciated you. I didn't respect you enough. Dr. John, he's humbled himself to write this letter. He gives it to his secretary to send to Will. She reads it, thought it was too embarrassing of him, and she never sends the letter. Big John doesn't know that. He just thinks Will never writes back, and he dies later that year. Chills.
I do have chills. How do we know that it wasn't sent?
It's in the annals of history, in the annals of history.
Did Will eventually find out about it?
Well, 5 years later, Will is nearing death. He has lost his sight. So Will's life now, 88, lost his sight. He loves nothing better than to be driven to the Kellogg plant, park his car there, and listen to the noises of the factory. This is his obsession with what he's created.
I like that.
He's gone blind, so somebody found the letter that was never sent to him, and they read it to him. He's stoic. He doesn't say a word. Tears stream down his face. He finally had won his brother's respect. He later dies.
That day?
Later that year.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a complicated family. They're obsessed with digestion, masturbation, but they're also geniuses, marketing, food science, advertising.
What am I trying to say? What are those called? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Meal? What is that called?
Meals?
Are those called meals?
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I think, are historically called meals.
That doesn't go with what I was trying to say. Changed...
Meals?
Meals?
Try it with meals and see how it sounds.
Wow. Two brothers that changed the course of meals forever. That doesn't seem right. Change breakfast forever?
Yeah, they changed breakfast. I think it's fair to say they changed breakfast forever.
I feel like there's another word, but We're spending too much time on it. Wow. I'll go back. Wow.
Wow.
2 brothers that changed the course of breakfast forever.
It's unbelievable. And now, as we know, Kellogg's owns a whole host of brands. Cheez-Its.
Hostess?
Actually, not Hostess.
Oh.
Host of brands.
Host of brands.
Cheez-Its, Eggos, Kashi.
But you can't, I mean, that's
Mr.
kind
Day.
of like, now we're in the territory of like, this big company bought this big company. Now it's like,
Of course. It's just
part of the portfolio
acquisitions.
now.
Acquisitions out the wazoo. The company is doing extremely well. As I mentioned, you have $15 billion of sales last year. So they're still doing quite well.
what an interesting story. I did not know any of that. Were the parents around for any of this feud, or they kind of fell off the scene?
They were around, their siblings, everybody who was around during the feud, their lives were also ruined by this feud. Because it was like, whose side do you pick?
Oh, there
You know
were
what I
other
mean?
siblings too.
Anyway, it's ruined everyone's lives because it was like, whose side do you pick? I mean, imagine you're in a family and 2 people won't speak to each other.
Oh, I know who I'd pick.
Who?
I'm kidding.
Little Will? You'd love Will.
Well, I do like an underdog. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if he's getting bullied and being forced to sit in a bathroom and take notes while his brother poops 5 times a day, yeah, I'm going to root for him.
I'm on his side.
I'm on his
definitely.
side. And I do like cornflakes a lot, though I will say I never buy them.
Really?
If
I
I'm
have
gonna
a box of cornflakes in the pantry right now.
cornflakes are like Trader Joe flakes.
Kellogg's cornflakes.
Wow. If I'm going to get a flake cereal, Special K.
Interesting. Red berry or plain?
Of course, red berry if it's available. Sometimes I'll get an extra bag of red berries at Trader Joe's because they sell just the red, dehydrated red berry, and I'll pump it up a bit.
Wow, that's a berry bonanza.
That was great.
So I'm going to go down just a list. You let me know if you have any feelings about any of these cereals.
Okay.
All brand.
No, I would never buy it.
Apple Jacks.
As a kid, not anymore.
Cinnabon. They made a Cinnabon cereal.
Oh my God.
It must still exist because this is active.
One of the boxes of cereals I bought this week is not Cinnabon, but it is cinnamon bun, cinnamon toast crunch. And I've never had it, and I thought I would try it.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
You ever go through a Crispix phase? I was big in Crispix for a minute. Little Pentagon.
I would say a
Crispy
phase I go through that I don't go through a lot, but when I do, I really enjoy it, is Cinnamon Life.
Oh, fun. Yeah, Life is good. It's like the web, right? Crunchy webs.
Yeah, like a little web.
Those are really good. Ooh, this one, Fruit Loops, as I mentioned, Frosted Flakes has been big for me in my life.
Nope.
Never?
Not really.
Oh my God, I could just cash out a box of Frosted Flakes in one sitting.
I could see eating, if I was to get Frosted Flakes, I could see eating them as a snack more than a cereal.
Like a dry snack?
Yeah, like a
tossing
sweet-
one handful back?
Sweet dry snack during a movie.
Sweet dry snack during a movie. Imagine you're watching the Barbie movie and you turn to the person next to you and they have a box of Frosted Flakes.
Like a family-sized box of Frosted Flakes. I don't even honestly think that's that weird.
You don't think that's weird? Of
It's
course
just
you don't.
corn in a different form.
Don't you eat a rotisserie chicken in the movies?
No, my friend Mickey did that when we went and saw Snakes on a Plane because
Okay.
the Vista Theater, which is now being redone by Quentin Tarantino, and we're all excited for it to reopen. You were allowed to bring anything in to eat, and we brought a rotisserie chicken in. I did bring chicken salad in once, though, with crackers, and my friend Ruth took a picture of me with it.
Yeah, I think chicken salad with crackers is a bit too far from movie snack.
Wow, okay, well, that's why we never go to movies together.
Rice Krispies.
I like Rice Krispies. I don't get them much, but
Yeah.
I appreciate the heritage of them.
They sog up a bit quick, nah?
None of mine do.
With your crazy, insane method.
I think it's actually brilliant because I would never have to worry about them sogging up.
You know, if there's any cereal that would benefit from your like mad science recipe, it would probably be Rice Krispies.
And Life sogs up real quick.
Real quick. Our producer Al, he has a method with cereal where he pours milk on it and then puts it in the microwave.
Just Frosted Flakes.
Oh, just Frosted Flakes. Okay, yeah, Frosted Flakes. He pours milk on and then puts it in the microwave.
Warm milk.
Isn't that repulsive?
That's
It's like
repulsive.
it makes me think of like, because I have little kids, like they'll eat a bowl of cereal and then just like tuck it under the couch, and then like the next day or like 2 days later, you
He's
find
like-
like a
Al's
bowl
like,
of cereal.
perfect. They do that for Al.
Yeah, my breakfast is ready. To me,
That's-
that's what that cereal would look and taste like.
I would say for
Disgusting.
the last few years, my go-to cereal almost always is either Cheerios or Honey Nut Cheerios. I just can't get enough of them. And when on occasion, about twice a year, they come out, instead of having a hole in the middle of them, they have a little heart. And I love when they
That's
have
cute.
the heart.
What do you do with it?
Look at it
Oh.
and think about loves.
Love's lost.
Past love, love's lost, love's I'll never have.
We got some discontinued cereals they've done.
Okay.
Bart Simpson's No Problemos.
That seems like it would be discontinued by now.
C-3PO's cereal
Yeah.
in 1984. Did you have a box of that?
Nope.
That would be a fun one to find in a estate sale, all dusty.
I feel like all of these cereals are kind of the same thing. It's just a different shape and
Yeah,
color.
you can imagine maybe the shape was different. There's a lot of like ones you've never heard of. Big Mix cereal, Cocoa Hoots.
Definitely not Cocoa Hoots.
They looked like Cheerios, but they were chocolate flavored. And the mascot was Newton the Owl.
Well, now you can just get chocolate Cheerios.
And one of its commercials featured a young Jodie Foster.
Oh, okay.
That's fun. We can play a game.
Okay.
So I'm going to say the name of a mascot, and you see if you can name. This is a good test of like how solidified the Kellogg's brand is in the culture. If
Okay.
you know the product just from the name.
And these will be mostly brands that I should
These
know.
are all Kellogg's cereals.
But they're not like Cocoa Hoots.
No, not Cocoa Hoots.
Okay.
Which
Hootie
is Newton
the Owl
Owl.
from Cocoa Hoots. Was it an owl?
Newton the Owl, yeah.
Ah. Wait, that was more like a crow. Ooh, what
Toucan Sam.
Toucan Sam is old Fruity Loopy.
You're right.
Of
You are gay.
course. The gayest bird that Big John could think of.
Sonny the Sun.
Sonny the Sun.
Sonny the Sun. Iconic cereal box mascot Sonny the Sun.
Hey, kids, it's Sonny the Sun. Be sure to have a bowl of Kicks. That's not Kellogg's. I don't know what Sonny the Sun is.
Raisin Bran.
Oh, of course. Lowest cereal on my list, I think.
Raisin Bran?
Raisin Bran.
Oh, Raisin Bran is fantastic.
I know. You
Really?
know what Raisin Bran is to me?
What?
MASH. The television show MASH. I think of it with such disdain. But when I watch it and or eat it, I'm like, it's not bad. Give me another day. I'm like, ugh. I think of it with disdain again.
Both kind of like brown and dusty.
Brown and dusty and sad and been around too long. But pretty good.
Cornelius.
Cornelius Fudge.
Nope.
Oh. Cornelius. That's just his name?
Cornelius. You probably didn't know he had a name. That's the rooster on the box of cornflakes.
Well, of course nobody knows that. Here's the thing about brands. I shouldn't have to work this hard to figure out that that's what that rooster name is after 110 years.
Yeah, so Will's not perfect.
Will's not perfect.
And then this is my last bit of Kellogg's info. Kellogg's Pop-Tarts did a brand collab with none other than Crocs.
No.
And this is live now. This was launched August 8th. This is a sweepstakes that you apply for online to win a limited edition Pop-Tarts Croc Tarts. It comes with one pair of custom Crocs classic clogs.
Good God.
This sentence is from hell. Featuring Pop-Tarts inspired gibbets.
I was going to say, I
jars
know it's going to have Pop-Tart gibbets.
and a box of unfrosted strawberry Pop-Tarts featuring for the first time ever Crocs shaped candy gibbets.
Good God. How many words is in this?
Charms to eat and decorate atop your pastry. Wear your Pop-Tarts and eat them too. So this is something they say. They both have holes. This is something that they say in the press release.
That's funny because I was picturing, I was like, I wonder if they did 13 holes on the Pop-Tart to go with the Croc.
You should enter the sweepstakes and then see what you get.
It was August 8th of this year.
The sweepstake is still live, so you can still go online and enter to win a pair of Crocs and candy gibbets. What world are we living in?
I feel like we should get a free pair just because we've now done an episode on Crocs and on Kellogg's.
I have said the word gibbets, a word that did not exist at all in my vocabulary up until 3 weeks ago. I've said it probably 50,000 times, and my brain cells are dying every time.
Yeah, I'm still not a fan of gibbets. But okay, now that we're on to Pop-Tarts for a second, this is how I eat a Pop-Tart. I toast it. I like it to get a little brown on the edges. Okay.
Part's normal.
While it's toasting, I put
Okay.
a pat of butter on the plate in the middle. I then take the scalding hot Pop-Tart, put that on the butter pat, butter the top of the Pop-Tart.
Wait, what flavor Pop-Tart is this?
I really enjoy unfrosted strawberry. I really like the cinnamon frosted. Sometimes I think I like the chocolate one that has chocolate on top with those white little weird dots on it. Those are probably my go-tos.
Okay.
So now I've got a pat of butter melting under the Pop-Tart. I've got butter on top of it. Then I take a knife. I cut off each side of crust. Eat those, and then enjoy the buttery middle for last.
That's pretty rough. I can't believe you like shared that like with such comfort.
I can't either. No, it's delicious.
I didn't even know Pop-Tarts were those things that people had different ways of eating them. I used to like the s'mores and the brown sugar, but I haven't had them in a while.
There's definitely a big debate about
A big debate across the nation, a nation divided.
There's definitely a camp of people that eat Pop-Tarts with butter and people that don't.
Really? Other people put butter on them?
Most don't, but there are others out there. I would love it if anyone who enjoys the show could tell us if you eat your Pop-Tarts with butter.
Are you part of the Butter Club?
Are you part of the Butter Club? I can't be the only one. That's just how we always had them. It's like, it's not my fault. I was raised that way. My parents taught me that.
And that's interesting. Is there anything else unconventional that your family put butter on?
Well, another snack we would have sometime was makeshift cookie dough, where we would take a cup and we'd put some flour in it, some butter, and maybe chocolate chips, and just mix that up and then just eat that, like quick little makeshift. Why?
I don't know.
Why that breath?
No.
This is just how I was raised. I can't help it.
You're not responsible.
This life was given to me.
That's true.
It was given to me.
I think it's beautiful.
No, you don't. And I get it. It's weird. We also had, may as well get them all out there right now. Sometimes, I'm sure my sisters are like, sometimes instead of ice cream or sherbet for some reason, we would get a cup of orange juice concentrate. Have you ever had that?
Quite strong.
It is intense. It is so... I don't even know if they sell it anymore.
I imagine like the roof of your mouth just being eviscerated by like the citric acid.
It was like, if you've never seen it, it was like, it looked like the same size of like a can of like biscuits.
Yeah.
And it was in the freezer section. And it was just concentrated orange juice. You would let it melt and like pour it in a pitcher and then fill the pitcher with water and make it orange juice. It would be like serving a kid like just Coke syrup instead of mixing it with carbonated beverage. It was insane. We had a lot of weird
time to be a parent.
Yeah, it was a wild time.
That's why parenting these days is so much harder, is because like if you did something like that, like your neighbors would like call 911 and your children would be taken away.
I'm picturing whoever came up with orange juice concentrate is like, we found a way to make having orange juice easier for the family. And my mom being like, you sure did. We'll just have the concentrate. Like, we're not even going to do the one step.
One step was like, I have 5 kids. I don't have time to find a pitcher, wash it out, pour in water.
Oh my God. In my head, I remember us eating that. And then just for like 2 hours, we're just like...
bouncing off the damn walls.
Yeah.
A woman once, this is up your alley. A woman once
is it gay?
Sued Pop-Tarts because she claimed that there wasn't enough strawberry in the strawberry filling.
I'm not going to do that.
That's not you?
No,
You're not suing?
That.
All this talk about Pop-Tarts is making me want to have a Pop-Tart. It sounds really good.
Yeah, they are good.
So that's pretty much it for Kellogg's. I mean, what a history. A truly American icons.
I don't know how I avoided knowing this story forever. I love that you told it. I think this is a really fun brand to learn about. Definitely not at all what I expected.
Right.
So, bravo.
Don't you want to see Daniel Day-Lewis and Tom Hanks portraying the
the
Kellogg's brothers?
Daniel Day-Lewis. He's Big John.
Yeah, he's Big John, obviously.
Like, he would take it so
Everyone's
seriously.
so old. I don't know any actor under 65.
He's a...
like, Tom Hanks should play the 20-year-old.
Yeah, they're both playing like a 21-year-old and a 14-year-old.
Yeah, Tom Hanks is going to capitalize on his recent success from You've Got Mail, and he's going to like then do this really like rich biopic.
And who pulls out Daniel Day-Lewis, the guy that like retired from acting like 18 years ago?
I don't know any famous people.
And he would take it so seriously, he would just be like, I have to sit in the pot for like 4 days to really understand this story, man. Send a kid in here to take my notes.
Yeah, he would have to poop 5 times a day.
So thank you for this episode. I would now like to address maybe a couple of things that people have reached out about. The first one being for Caitlin from Highland Park. She reached out and said she was not convinced that Crocs self-form to your feet.
Interesting.
And I said, okay, I will look into that for you. I called Crocs 3 times The first 2 times, I was on hold for 16 minutes each time.
Wait, so you mean you call Crocs? Is that like a Crocs store?
No, like the Crocs I went to the website. First, I went to the Crocs website, and they have like a chat, and it was like chat with a live person about Crocs. So I did that because it said it was available from like Monday through Friday, 24 hours a day.
Who is writing that? Do you think that's just only people like, I got an idea for a gibbet?
People that are writing in.
Yeah.
I'm probably the first person to use this system. The first response I got from them, I was like, wow, is this a robot, or are they just talking like they have a way they have to say this? Long story short, it was clearly a robot, because I was like, are you a robot? And it'd be like, hey, I'm so sorry you're not happy with your Crocs. It's like, I didn't say I wasn't happy with the Crocs. I'm asking you, does it form to my foot?
Not only is it a robot, it's a dumb robot.
It's a dumb robot. Yeah. So then that's when I decided to call. The first time I waited, like I said, it was 16 minutes when I hung up. The second time, same. Third time, about 10 minutes in, someone answered, and he did tell me that, yes, they do. He clearly had no clue. But I'm going to say, yes, Crocs has officially said that they do. He said it takes a good amount of heat, so I'm just going to say you have to have a hot foot. The hotter your foot, the more comfortable your Crocs are going to be.
So if your feet are getting 180, 200 degrees, the Croc will adjust.
Adjust to your foot. It will form to your foot.
Interesting.
And I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you're satisfied with that answer.
I can
Caitlin.
report back that I am on day 4 of owning a pair of Crocs.
Are you
I am
really?
in absolute heaven.
I didn't know you got Crocs.
I did. I just got them in the mail. I ordered them from Zappos. I'm not wearing them right now, but I've been wearing them every single day. It's like walking on a cloud.
What color did you get?
Bone.
Ugh.
I feel like those bone dinosaurs in Mario.
Oh, those are cute. I like that sound when you jump on them, like clink, 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 and then when they put themselves back together.
Yeah. Now, once I got that image in my head, I can't kind of get it out. Now I just feel like I'm one of those bone dinosaurs. But they are so comfortable, and I do think everybody should own one.
I will. I'm sure I will get a pair at some point. I will probably wear them in sport mode, though.
I was wearing them in sport mode, and I got lightly teased by a friend who said that that's not the cool way to wear them. You need to wear them in leisure mode with the strap forward. She says that if you wear them in sport mode, you look like a toddler.
Wow, this podcast is literally changing our lives.
It really is. Oh, we have a comment regarding our Taylor Swift episode. The debate was, is Jon a Swiftie or not? And some fans have weighed in.
All right, so the fans are weighing in. We're pulling up a comment we got earlier, but literally while we've been recording this podcast, this is as live as it gets. 10 minutes ago, Chris Trotman, 58, commented, he is absolutely a Swiftie. Then he's got that smiley face that has tears because he's laughing so hard. More than 2 pieces of the clock definitely makes you a Swiftie. Okay. So we've got that. And then we have a comment from Ashley Falls, who says, and this is very nice, as a Swiftie and a huge fan of our podcast, she loves this episode, but she is saying that because I bought 4 of the vinyls to make the clock, I am a next level certified Swiftie.
There you go.
No, not there you go. Just because she says that, I don't think that makes it true. Swiftie, maybe. Next level, I feel like I still not convinced.
The votes are in.
The votes are in. I'll say I'm a Swiftie. So there you go.
Well, thank you so much for listening. This has been a super fun episode. Learning about Kellogg's was a blast. I loved sharing the news with you, Jon. The news. I loved sharing the history of Kellogg's with you.
Thank you so much. Send in the brands you're interested in us looking at. We're keeping a running list, and, we'd love to hear from you guys.
Yes, that's right. If you're a fan of the show, write to us on Apple Podcasts. There you can give us 5 stars if you like the show. Leave a nice review. Let us know any brands you want us to talk about. And if you're enjoying the show, tell your friends.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Are you looking for a new job or want a career change? Look no further than Monster.com. Need a little help standing out? Our expert resume writing services will make sure you shine. Want to brush up on your interview skills? Engage with our AI interview prep tool. Want some advice on negotiating your new salary? Visit our salary tools and extensive library of career advice articles, and you'll have all the tips and tricks you'll need to succeed. Visit Monster.com today and take the first step towards your career. Monster.com. Find your right job fit.